battlefield had fractured into duels. Not battles of strategy, not grand formations, but intimate, cutting duels where survival rested on the edge of a blade. The crimson haze of Velgryn's cataclysm hung like a curse over the earth, pressing down on lungs and bones alike. Yet Gazel's vanguard pressed forward, through flame, through gravity, through despair itself, toward the heart of the ritual. And what they found there was no accident. It was design. A trap. A perfect one. Kigali, immersed in blood and incantation, stood as the ritual's centerpiece. But around her, the Empire's strongest hand revealed all at once. Not only Kondo, the Empire's blade, but Footman and Tyr, Yuki's twisted allies, and nearly 50 Imperial Guardians. 50 Saint-class opponents, hardened and loyal. The kind of force that could erase kingdoms on its own. And above all, Velgrynd herself, still silent, watching. Her separate body raged elsewhere against the primordial demons, but here, her true self loomed. Eyes narrowed, her intent was written in silence. If the ritual was disturbed, she would act, and nothing would survive. In that moment, despair should have broken men. It should have dissolved courage into ash. But Gazel Dwargo, king of dwarves, raised his voice. Fear not. Know that we too have powerful reinforcements that defy all common sense. It was defiance, raw and unyielding, and it spread like fire through the Pegasus Knights. Fear turned to resolve. Resolve into action. The battlefield splintered. Gazel singled out Kondo, declaring with quiet certainty that he was the only one who could take this man. Vaughn and Jane rallied the knights against the Guardians. Dolph divided his men into aerial strike groups, sacrifices not for victory, but for time. Each Pegasus Knight embraced their role, blades lifted against impossible odds, and then came the reinforcements. Gabil descended, dragging the colossal demon Colossus across the skies with Team Hiryu. His laughter shook the air, a booming cry of mad courage. Sit back and let your concerns fly away as you enjoy this battle. Ghidorah leapt into the machine, aiming its wrath not at Kondo, but at Velgrynd herself. Gabwa and Team Kurenai slotted into position, already aware that their tactical mission was lost. The operation is already a failure, they admitted to themselves. Yet still they fought, not for victory, but to lighten Rimuru's burden. And then Phobio, eyes narrowed, claws sharp. He sought not glory, but closure. The clown who once humiliated him now stood before him again. I can't promise that I won't be rash, he muttered, but I swear I'll make an effort not to die. His words were not poetry. They were something rarer. Honesty. The tapestry was complete. Gazel versus Kondo. Vaughn and Henrietta versus Footman and Tyr. Gabil's reckless charge. Gabwa's grim resolve. Phobio's personal reckoning. And Velgrynd, eyes fixed coldly on the demon Colossus. Every piece was in motion. The trap had sprung. And yet, at its center, the most intimate battle began. Gazel versus Kondo. They faced one another not as ruler and officer, but as heirs to a lineage of steel. Their stances mirrored each other like reflection in water. And when blades clashed, truth rang clear. Both their arts came from the same root. Crestwater, as Gazel knew it. Oboro, as Kondo named it. For a heartbeat, that connection bound them. But Kondo twisted it into temptation. As a fellow Oboro user, I offer you my friendship. Swear allegiance to the Emperor, and I promise to spare your nation. It was rational, pragmatic, the only logical choice for survival. Gazel knew it. His men knew it. Velgrynd was invincible, their mission already failing. To retreat meant saving thousands. To surrender meant sparing his people. And for a moment, the king faltered. But then, pride rose. Not arrogance, but the pride of a warrior who refuses to bow to inevitability. Gazel smiled through his doubt. Ridiculous. If you think you've already won, then you have no idea how dangerous letting your guard down is. And so began a Saint-class duel worthy of legends. Gazel unleashed Crestwater thundering heavens, lightning bursting around him like judgment itself. Kondo answered with Shippu Raiha, a horizontal tempest, then Shiden Totsu, piercing and merciless. Their movements mirrored each other, strike for strike, the echo of a single school split across worlds. But symmetry was not balance. Slowly, inevitably, Gazel faltered. Kondo had mastered more variations. His blade was honed not for honor, but for killing. Killing demons, killing monsters, killing kings. Kondo's words cut sharper than steel. Even I do not know all the techniques Crestwater preserved. Hakuro, you said? Could a mere monster truly grasp the essence of the blade? The insult struck deep. Gazel's composure fractured. For all his kingly resolve, he was still Hakuro's student. And in that instant of anger, his discipline wavered. From the shadows, salvation came. A voice, wry and familiar. Ho, ho, ho. If that, King Gazel, is enough to disturb you on the battlefield, I see you still need quite a bit more training. Go cool your head over there while I take over for a little while. Hakuro. The white-haired master stepped forward, presence commanding. The true successor of Byakuya Araki's art had arrived. The battlefield froze as two masters faced one another. Kondo, the Empire's unflinching sword. Hakuro, the aged monster who carried Byakuya's legacy. Their opening clash was blinding. Kondo's Iaido cut, a strike meant to kill in a single motion, caught effortlessly by Hakuro's hidden blade. His heaven gaze, the third eye, gleamed with intent. For the first time, Kondo's mask cracked. Oh, you can catch this? He acknowledged Hakuro. But still he clung to his creed. Oboro Shinmei-ryu existed to slay monsters. How could a monster embody its essence? Pride demanded proof. Kondo unleashed Gokatatsu, the plum blossom thrust, five-fold precision aimed at Hakuro's vitals. Hakuro answered with multi-layered blossom flash, 8 cuts flowing like falling petals, every stroke the culmination of a swordsman's life. Their clash scattered blossoms of steel across the battlefield. Hakuro's blade grazed Kondo's cheek, proof of superiority. But the cost was ruinous. Kondo's counter shredded his arms, leaving them broken. Not even the most powerful of my moves could reach you, Hakuro whispered. Yet Kondo bowed his head slightly. Respect unfeigned, allow me to apologize for looking down on you. What was your grandfather's name? Byakuya Araki. The name bridged worlds. The lineage was confirmed. For a moment, both men were bound not by war, but by shared blood and tradition. But duty is merciless. Kondo's oath would not bend. The worst thing you can do is take half measures. Hakuro accepted his end of the road. He had achieved his purpose. Not victory, but instruction. By showing Gazel the deepest secrets of their art, he passed the torch. The rest, I leave up to you. Arms ruined, dignity intact, the master retreated. And so Gazel stepped forward again. No longer driven by pride alone, but by Hakuro's sacrifice. He carried both his Crestwater heritage and the lesson of the Blossom Flash. He called upon his ace, summoned the elemental Lord of Earth, merging fully with its spirit. His body surged with power to rival an awakened demon lord. His blade burned with the unique skill Tyrant, channeling spirit into a decisive strike. Confidence roared through him. Now, I can win. I can reach even greater heights than ever before. But Kondo had shed his mask of civility. Shame at underestimating Hakuro hardened into resolve. That's enough playtime. Time to get back to work. Where Gazel saw honor, Kondo saw duty. Where Gazel saw a duel, Kondo saw war. And when Gazel launched his divine speed strike, his finest, his ultimate, he never reached his mark. The sound shattered everything. A gunshot. Cold, heretical, echoing against the harmony of steel. Gazel collapsed, crimson blooming across his chest. His voice broke with fury and humiliation. Where is your pride as a swordsman? But Kondo was ice. Pride is useless in a battle. My duty is to win by any means necessary. In his hand was not merely a pistol, but Sandalphon, Lord of Judgment, necrosis bullets that shattered magical pathways, that killed the immortal. A weapon not of duels, but of extermination. The truth was merciless. Gazel could climb as high as pride and power allowed, but against an ultimate skill, his fate was sealed before the battle even began. And yet, Kondo did not finish him. His mercy was worse. I have no intention of killing you, Your Majesty. I will detain you. When everything is settled, you will be released. But that was no release. It was enslavement. The Dominion bullet, the same that bound Kagali, would soon claim him. Hakuro could only watch. Arms ruined, student broken, his legacy snatched away by a man who had abandoned the sword for victory. The clash of saints was over. The Empire's blade had triumphed, and in that triumph, despair bloomed. Not from Velgryn's gravity, nor from Kagali's ritual, but from the realization that honor meant nothing. Skill meant nothing. Pride meant nothing. Against the Empire's design, even kings and masters were caught. The trap had closed, and Rimuru allies had walked straight into it.